All right, so now we're going to take a look at a while loop. So the for loop and the while loop can generally be interchanged. You can do one, you can do anything with a while loop you can with a for, and anything with a for loop you can with a while. Just some applications make more sense than the others for one construct or the other. That just sort of takes some practice to understand. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create a while loop. And much like a for loop, it has some condition where it has to stop. It evaluates the contents of the parentheses to be true or false. So here, let's just say I want to create a, I don't know, a counter. It's equal to 0. And in here, counter, oops, I want to run this from 0 to 10. So as long as the counter is less than 10, then I want to execute this loop. Okay, so here I'm just going to sys out counter, and then plus the counter, C-O-U-N-T-E-R. So pretty straightforward, but however, right now I have what's called an infinite loop. I'm not incrementing the counter anywhere. So let's do that. Counter plus plus, and that way it will stop when the counter gets to 10. Okay, if we run that, see my output here is 0 through 9, which makes sense. Starts at 0 and runs until prints 9, and then increments to 10. So as it increments to 10, then it jumps out of this while loop. Okay. All right, so let's try a few other things here. I'm going to get rid of my counter. Oh, and by the way, I could have also have done that. So that will give me exactly the same results. Let's get rid of the print line so it's easier to see down below on the console. So run that, and you'll see counter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. In fact, let's get rid of the text. I want to add a space in between the numbers. Run that again. And you see I get the same thing, 0 through 9. I could have used a prefix counter like that, or increment operator, in which case, what would be my output then? Remember, I start at 0, but the prefix increments before this line is executed. So that means I would get a 1 through 10. All right, hopefully that makes sense. So what we're going to do now is let's change this. Let's get rid of the counter, and let's get rid of this and this. I want to make the while loop stop. Since it stops on a Boolean condition of true or false, then I'm going to create Boolean, and I'm going to call it done. I'm going to say it's equal to false. Okay, so this is a sort of a self-descriptive code or self-commenting code. So while not done, execute this. Okay, so in here, I'm going to are you done? I want to prompt the user to see if they're done. What will I ask them to do? I'm going to ask them to say yes or no. Okay. Now, since it is a question, I probably ought to put a question mark right there. All right, and then below that, I want to get information from the user. I've already got string input defined up above, but I want to get that next line from the user. Okay, if, before I do the if, I want to do a couple of things here. So if the user puts space around the input, what I mean by that is let's go ahead and SYSOUT. I'm just going to output my string input just to see what it does there. Okay. Now I'm in an infinite loop because I'm not ever setting this condition other than nodding true. So the exclamation point is a negation. It knots this to the opposite of what it's set to. So if it's false, this is going to equal true. If it's true, then this will equal false. All right, so let's go ahead. Go ahead and run this. Like I said, it'll be an infinite loop, but I can stop it. Let's run. Are you done? So I'm going to put in space, space, space. Yes. Space, space, space. And you'll see that includes all of those spaces. Well, I don't want to do that. I'll kill my process. Come back up here. One way I can get rid of that is string input equals string input dot trim. Trim will get rid of all of the extra spaces that you put in around that to get a more accurate reading, let's say. And there are other ways I could double check that, but for now, that's what we'll use. Okay, so now what? Now I want to check to see if they have said yes or no. So if string input, will this work? Equal, yes. Then done equal true. So there again, the code is self-describing. All right, so I'll also want to create a scope down here because I want to add another line in here that says, okay, if you're done, break at, well, I don't have to break out of the loop, I'm sorry, because I'm setting this, this value here. Okay, we'll look at the break and the continue here in just a moment. I don't need this anymore. My question is, will that work? Let's try it and see. Run. Yes. Yes. No. I don't care. So in other words, that's not working. I'm stuck in an infinite loop again. The reason is because string input is of data type string, and that's a where a equal will not work with a reference type. It will work with a primitive type but not a reference type. And so we have to use something else. We use another function or method that's in the string class called equals. So if that equals y like that, so that's the way I have to do equalities in strings. A character I could have used an equal because that is a primitive type, but not a string. So make a note of that. Anytime you're comparing strings, even to a string literal, then you must use dot equals for that to work properly. Let's run that again. This time I'll do no, and then a yes. And now I'm out of the application. All right, so one more thing. I want to look at, instead of using, for some reason, let's say I don't want to use that done equal true, there's something else I could do. I could use a break. And a break will break out of the while loop and back into the other part of the code. Okay, so I'm going to put down here at the bottom just a message that says bye to let me know that I've actually exited the program. And then I'm going to get rid of that. So now I'm going to loop until I break. I'll break when I enter a Y. Okay, so let's run this again. Enter a Y and break out. Okay. Any other character will not break. It's only a capital Y. Will a small y break? Nope. So let's fix that. Let's say I want to do a capital or small. then what I could do here is, lucky for me, I have equals ignore case. So I could use that instead. And now let's try that again. Oops, one too many parentheses there. Save that. Run it again. A small y breaks out the same as a big Y. Okay.